What's up, guys, and welcome back to my reading journey. Hope we're all doing absolutely fantastic, and today we're gonna continue with the Discourses by Epictetus, and we're gonna continue with the chapter 12 on contentment. So let's get started. Concerning the gods, some there are some who say that the divine does not exist, others that it exists but is inactive and indifferent and takes no thought for anything. Others, again, that God does exist and take thought, but only for great things and things in the heavens, but for nothing on earth. And a fourth class say that God takes thought also for earthly and human things, but only in a general way, and has no care for individuals. And there is a fifth class, to whom belong Odysseus and Socrates, who say, "Whether I move, thou seest me." Before all things, that is necessary to examine each of these views, to see whether it is true or untrue. For if there are no gods, how can following the gods be the end of man? If again there are gods, but they care for nothing, in that case, too, what good will it be to follow them? But once more, if they exist and do care, yet if there is no communication between them and man, nay, what is more, if there is none between them and me, to follow them cannot be true end. The good man then, having examined all these questions, has submitted his mind to him that orders the universe, as good citizens submit to the law of the city. The man who is under education ought to approach education with this purpose in his mind. How can I follow the gods in everything, and how can I be content with the divine governance, and how can I become free? For he is free, for whom all things happen according to his will, and whom no one can hinder. What then? Is freedom the same as madness? Heaven forbid. Frenzy and freedom have nothing in common. But, you say, I want everything to happen as I think good, whatever that may be. Then you are in a state of madness. You are out of your mind. Do you not know that freedom is a noble thing and worthy of regard, but merely to want one's chance thoughts to be realized is not a noble thing and comes perilously, near being the most shameful of all things. How do we act in matters of grammar? Do I want to write Dion's name as I will? No, I am taught to will the right way of writing. How is it in music? Which is the same. So it is universally in every region of art or science. Otherwise, it would not be worthwhile to know anything, if everything can conform itself to each man's will. Are we to say then that in this sphere alone, the greatest and most momentous of all, the sphere of freedom, it is permitted me to indulge chance desires? By no means. Education is just this, learning to frame one's will in accord with events. How do events happen? They happen as a disposer of events has ordained them. He ordained. They happen as the disposer of events has ordained them. He ordained summer and winter, fruitful and barren season, virtue and vice, and all such opposites for the sake of the harmony of the universe, and gave to each one of us a body and bodily parts and property, and man to associate with. Remembering that Remembering that things are thus ordained, we ought to approach education not that we may change the conditions of life that is not given to us, nor is it good for us, but that our circumstances, being as they are and as nature makes them, we may conform our mind to events. I ask you, is it possible to avoid man? How can we change their nature by our society, who gives us that power? What is left for us then? Or what means do we discover to deal with them? We must so act as to leave them, to do as seems good to them, while we remain in accord with nature. But you're impatient and discontented. If you are alone, you call it a wilderness, and if you are with man, you describe them as plotters and robbers, and you find fault even with your own parents and children and brothers and neighbors. Why, when you are alone, you ought to call it peace and freedom and consider yourself the equal of the gods. When you are in a large company, you should not call it a crowd or a mob or a nuisance, 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 but a high day and a festival, and so accept all things in a spirit of content. What punishment is there, you ask, for those who do not accept things in this spirit? Their punishment is to be as they are. Is one discontented with being alone? Let him be deserted. Is one discontented with his parents? Let him be a bad son and mourn his lot. Is one discontented with his children? Let him be a bad father. Cast him into prison. What do you mean by prison? He is in prison already, for a man's prison is the place that he is in against his will, just as, conversely, Socrates was not in prison, for he chose to be there. Am I then to have a maimed leg? Am I then to have a maimed leg? Slave, do you mean to reign the universe for one wretched leg? Will you not make a gift of it to the sum of things? Will you not make a gift of it to the sum of things? You will not resign it? Will you not joyfully yield it up to him who gave it? Will you be waxed and discontented with the ordinances of Zeus, laid down and ordained by him, with the fates who were present at your birth, and span your thread of life? Do you not know what a little part you are compared to with the universe? I say this of your body, for in reason you are not inferior to the gods, nor less than they. For the greatness of reason is judged not by length or height, but by its judgments. Will you not then set your good in that region where you are equal to the gods? Alas, but look what a father and mother I have got. Why, was it given you on entering life to choose and say, let such and one marry such and one at this hour, that I may be born? No such choice was given you. Your parents had to be in existence first, and your birth had to follow. Of what parents? Of such as they were. Well then, as your parents are what they are, is no resource left you? Surely, if you did not know to what end you possess the faculty of vision, you would be unhappy and miserable if you closed your eyes when colors were brought near you. But are you not more wretched and unhappy still for not knowing that you have a high and noble spirit to face each occasion as it arises? The objects which correspond to the faculty that you have are brought near you. Yet you turn away your faculty just at the very moment when you ought to keep it open-eyed and alert. Rather, give thanks to the gods that they set you above those things which they put out of your power and made you responsible only for what is within your control. For your parents, they left you without responsibility, and the same is true for brothers, body, property, death, life. What then? For what then did they make you responsible for what which alone is in your power? The proper handling of your impressions. Why then do you insist on dragging in these things for which you are not responsible? That is to make trouble for yourself. Alright, guys, thank you for joining today in this reading session. As usual, we're going to continue tomorrow with the next chapter. Thank you, see you, and bye.